This is the TCL QM7K, and what if I told you that this latest 2025 mid-ranger is one heck of a 4K mini OLED TV, but could also, if you're crazy enough, be an excellent gaming computing monitor. I mean, you look ridiculous, no doubt, but the picture is gonna be glorious. Let's find out more, and or if you're better off getting the older QM8 or something else altogether. The TCL QM7K is new for 2025 and it starts at $1,300 for the 55-inch, all the way up to 98 inches for $5,000. But I think the sweet spot for this model lineup is the 65-inch, which is this one, that will go for $1,400. Now, of course, this is a 4K display with minimal bezels all around. So for the left, top, and right side, they're around 7.5 to 8 millimeters from the black border all the way up to the trim on the outer perimeter. This looks like metal, but it's not. It's plastic, but it has a really nice metallic sheen to it. And at the bottom is about 1 centimeter, a little bit thicker, but that's on par for TVs in this category. Now, the refresh rate is 144 hertz. But can be boosted to 288 hertz when you're playing, say, games at 1080p. In terms of brightness, this thing can do 3000 nits with HDR content, but my eyes tell me it's more like 2500 nits, to be honest. It's still plenty bright enough, especially if you have a lot of sunlight and bright rooms and things like that. It's still plenty punchy. Now, by the way, when I have the QM8 and this on running in the background later on in the show, or throughout the video, do know that it's at 100%, both of them. So, something to bear in mind there. This thing has the AI PQ Pro processor running the show in the background. So it's an in-house built chipset that runs Google TV and the new Halo control system, which is an improved combo of micro lens design, the light source, as well as reduced gap between the backlighting and the diffuser that are meant to like reduce haloing, as well as improve colors. But more on picture quality in a bit. At the back, we have a decent selection of ports. On the far end of the TV, on the other side, is the power supply. On this side, we have USB 3, USB 2, Ethernet, and 4 HDMIs, one of which is eARC, and then we have the RF in as well as SPDIF right there. In terms of sound, the TV produces a combined 40 watts, which is not a lot. It can fill a medium-sized room, but it is pretty harsh. Let alone, don't even try a large room, for crying out loud. So if you're gonna want good sound, at least go with a sound bar or dedicated speakers. But here you can see the rear firing woofers tuned by Bang & Olufsen. They look nice and look good. I wish they perform a lot better. In the rear here, you can also see the 300 by 300 VESA mounts. And PSA, even though this thing is a small, slim TV, get an extra help when you're setting this up. 44 pounds is not light by any means. With the stand, by the way, the stand is really nice. Metallic looking, just like the outer rim. Fully plastic though, easy to install, very sturdy, which is the same thing as the rest of the TV. This thing is solidly built, really nice, but be sure to get extra help when you mount this, whether it's on the entertainment unit or whatever. But I do have a flat mount for this if you want to install this like a picture frame. And I discovered this new feature called Art Gallery, which is an app that TCL has on this new model. I wish they have it on the older QM8 and other models from last year. But this one basically shows or curates different museum pieces or art pieces, like Van Gogh right here. Kind of like a screensaver, but it looks much nicer, like it's almost like 4K definition, really nice stuff. So if you hang this on the wall, you basically have cycling painting. So yeah, the Art Gallery is dead simple to use, guys. It's just like any other screensaver app. You can let it cycle through whatever curation you set it to, or you can manually control it with the remote, forward, backward. There's some Van Gogh and Monet right there. And speaking of the controller, let me get under some better light here. This thing is not bad, I'll tell you what, for what it is. It backlights when you lift it up, and whenever you touch it, of course. Textures on the back here, some stability feet on both ends to keep this nice and stable and not wobbly on a flat surface. The range and also the angle of signal transmission is really nice as well. It's good to grip. The texture right up front here is like metal that mimics the stand as well. The last few years have seen mid-tier TVs look increasingly like their high-end siblings, usually for the better, from their skinny bezels, the slim side profiles, the brushed metal surfaces, some real, some made of plastic, and those
tiny little bumps at the bottom housing the physical buttons, the mute, the LED status light, the mics, and the like. In other words, the QM7K would look right at home with most of your decor. The micro OD backlighting means that blacks are solidly dark, and most impressively, light blooming is almost absent even compared to the higher end QM8. Fantastic contrast control from the mini LEDs keep blacks black and whites white, and even if the panel doesn't reach the honestly, searing peak brightness of the QM8, which has twice as many nits, it's still more than plenty for real life use. Whenever I'm watching something contrasty and dark, like the Batman, like they think I'm hiding in the shadows, but I am in the shadows. Or the vibrant colors and fast motion of Perfect Planet, or Mission Impossible Fallout. I'm like, you use a scalpel? I prefer a hammer. Yeah, it's still one of my favorite MI movies of all time. I really seriously can't deny that TCL's Halo control system has something to do with how well the TV adapts to different genres. Colors out of the box are for the most part on point, although I still prefer locking it into movie mode about half of the time regardless of the content. I just, prefer the color, but that's a personal thing. In a few shows, I did find slight motion control, the soap opera-ish effect being applied even though I had motion control as well as LED clear motion off. I'm quite sure it's user error here, but if you experience anything similar with your QM7K, let me know down in the comments below. One of the big differences this year is there's a visible improvement in glare rejection too. You can see the difference even pretty well with both sets off. The background reflection on the QM7K has a more hazed out matte-like finish than the QM8. I do wish this panel came in smaller sizes, like below 50 inches or something, because the native 144Hz refresh rate and also low signal response times are pretty legit for gaming, guys. I've been playing Claire Obscure, one of the best games yet this year, and also Ghosts of Tsushima, one of my classic favorites, piped from my PC plus using a wireless Xbox controller. And honestly, I have no complaints so far with shearing, tearing, or any kind of delay. Yeah, it's just fantastic. For internal speakers, the Bang & Olufsen tune drivers are average. Distortion is kept in check all the way up to 75% volume, which is pretty good for something stock. Despite the dedicated mid-woofers in the back though, guys, don't expect thumping bass or anything of that sort. And also, one of the first things to do when you get this TV for the first time, turn down that bloody treble in the EQ. Otherwise, female voices, string instruments, car crashes, and all that will sound like fingernails on a chalkboard, even at 60-65% volume. You're welcome. Now, another thing, the way the drivers are placed around the unit, they sound the best up against a wall and or entertainment center. Because if the TV's on a stand right smack in the middle of a living room or something, I noticed that audio bounces all over the place. The echoing is quite noticeable and annoying. While staying competitive with the likes of Hisense or Samsung has been great in accelerating new tech and features to bring to the table, or TV stand for that matter, TCL's dense catalog has made it kind of tough for customers to choose, especially with how solid the company's recent models have been. They're all pretty much good. So should you be paying $1,500 for this thing brand new, or go with the 2024 QM8 that can hit deep discounts close to $1,000 nowadays? Or you wait to see if the QM8K has more potent upgrades and fork a little bit extra for that. Yeah, decisions. Why can't at least a few of the important ports be centrally located on the TV in the back? Now, this negative doesn't just apply to the TCL. Nowadays, with pretty much any new set out there, I frequently have to plan out where the closest power outlet is and then set up the TV based on that. Or that I might have to purchase a longer cable like HDMI just because my source is on the opposite side of the TV's I/O ports. I mean, it's fine if all your components or Ethernet sources are right there by the TV. Otherwise, it's a lot more troublesome. For example, right now I have my PC at the front of the studio here that I run my games to with a longer HDMI eARC cable. But the problem is with my QM8, the ports are all on the right side. So I had a 15-foot cable which would have worked right to the middle, but it just stopped short of being able to reach the right side. And I had to buy another cable just so I could do that. Yeah, it's an extra expense and just more troublesome. Obviously, I'm not able to test them all, but some Android apps are not fully optimized, I noticed, for the AIPQ chipset. Like MX Player, Tidal, and SmartTube, to name a few, would randomly get memory allocation errors and then crash. I think it's a similar situation that you find with, say, mobile devices, where some developers just don't have the resources to keep updating their apps to run smoothly with non-standard hardware, especially since TCL has moved on from MediaTek processors to their in-house bespoke AIPQ. I would assume that these kind of issues are more likely to happen. But that being said, popular apps that most users would use, like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and all that, are usually fine. It's only once you start delving deeper into the Android libraries when you start seeing problems. The QM7K is measurably a better set than the QM7, especially with reduced blooming, stronger color control, and higher native and refresh rates for your RTX 5090 gaming rig or something, and also low reflectivity. Now, if you already own a QM7, the real-world improvements are marginal and small enough that you could probably skip it. And then, of course, there's the elephant in the room, which is the older but still fantastic QM8 that, if you wait for big sales, seriously undercuts the QM7's MSRP. Still though, I'm deeply impressed by the inroads TCL has done with their HVA and Halo tech. These things definitely bring the QM7K within striking distance of other sets like the Hisense U8N and even the Sony Bravia 9, for crying out loud. Well, that was my quick overview of the QM7K, and thanks to TCL for sending this over to me so I can share this with you guys. I hope to get the QM8K on board at some point to compare the generations. Now, if there are areas that you think that I can improve, because, you know, I'm not a TV expert by any means, I'm just maybe a minor enthusiast getting into it, so let me know down in the comments if you think there are areas that I skipped or something. And also, thank you so much for being here, guys. The fact that you're here means a lot to me. If you like what I do, subscribe, thumbs up, and all that. Reshare this channel with your friends if you can. Remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? The world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love you all very much. Peace out, and God bless.